Hey babies, welcome back to another Deck Tech and Modern League video. Today we're playing some Blue-White Hammertime. The deck list we're playing with is on screen now and in the description below. And Hammertime's a really interesting deck because it originated as sort of just a meme deck when Colossus Hammer came out in Core Set 20, but over the next couple years it kept getting powered up, and eventually it became one of the most consistently dominant decks in the format. So let's get into the deck tech. Starting off with our namesake card, Colossus Hammer is a 1-mana equipment that gives +10/+10 and causes the equipped creature to lose flying. Although it's only 1 mana to cast, it's 8 mana to equip, which is sort of the gimmick of the card. It's very cheap to play, and if we can cheat on the equip cost somehow, we can make a creature very threatening at a very cheap rate. One of our ways to cheat on the equip cost is Sigarda's Aid, which is a 1-mana enchantment that gives all of our equipment flash, and it says whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under our control, we can equip it to a creature for free. Our other option is Pure Steel Paladin, which says whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under our control, we get to draw a card, and it reduces all of our equip costs to 0 as long as we control 3 or more artifacts. For our other creatures we're playing, we have 4 copies of Ornithopter, which is a free 0/2 flyer for us. We have 4 copies of Esper Sentinel, which, on top of being an artifact creature and helping with Metalcraft, also gives us a way to either tax our opponent's non-creature spells or draw some extra cards over the course of the game. And we have 2 copies of Giver of Runes, which mostly serves as a way to protect our creatures from removal since we're usually going tall on one creature. We have 1 copy of Gingerbread as a hasty creature that can get in through a clogged board, and we have 4 copies of Stoneforge Mystic, which can search for our equipments and possibly cheat them into play for us. We have 1 copy of Paradise Mantle and 2 copies of Springleaf Drum, playing similar roles as Ramp, but Paradise Mantle works with some of our equipment synergies, so it's nice to have as a one-of. We have 1 copy of Shadow Spear as a way to give Trample and Lifelink, 1 copy of Reality Chip, and although technically it's a creature, it basically just serves the same role as these other one-of equipments as a searchable future side effect for card advantage, and 1 copy of Cauldron Complete as a very efficient creature that we can produce with just a Stoneforge Mystic. For the instants and sorceries in our deck, we're playing 2 copies of Blacksmith Skill and 2 copies of Spell Pierce, both mostly just to protect our equipped creatures, and we have 1 copy of Steel Shaper's Gift as yet another way to search for equipments. Getting into our mana base, we have 4 copies of Urza Saga, which on top of just being a great card in general, can also search for and cheat into play a Colossus Hammer, being a very good combo piece for us. And we have 3 copies of Inkmoth Nexus as a mana land that can kill our opponent very quickly with Infect. For fetch lands, we're playing 4 copies of Flooded Strand, 1 copy of Arid Mesa, and 1 Marsh Flats. For duels, we have 3 copies of Seachrome Coast and 2 Hollowed Fountains. We have 1 copy of Silent Clearing as a Horizon land and 3 basic planes. In our sideboard, we have 2 copies of March of Otherworldly Light, mostly for artifact and enchantment removal, 1 copy of Path to Exile to remove problematic creatures, and 1 copy of Pithing Needle as a way to stop activated abilities, 1 Relic of Progenitus for graveyard decks, 1 more Spell Pierce just in case we need more of that effect, and 3 Mana Leaks if we need even more counter spells or a way to counter creatures. We have 2 copies of Hushbringer, which is another way to get lifelink and also stops problematic ETBs from our opponent, mostly for Evoke Elementals. We have 2 copies of Lavinia, which are really good against both Evoke Elementals and Cascade decks. And we have 2 copies of Sanctifier Invec, which, on top of being pretty efficient graveyard hate, has protection from both black and red, making it very good at carrying equipments for us. And that's the deck tech. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments. If there's anything you'd like to see me play in the future, let me know. And let's get into the games. Alright, round 1 with Hammer, we won the die roll. So we will take the play, of course. Opponent is playing a Yorion deck. We have double Sigarda's Aid, Pure Steel Paladin, Blacksmith Skill, Esper Sentinel. Against the Yorion deck, skill is pretty good. We don't have a way to search for the hammer, but we have plenty of ways to equip it. This hand doesn't produce a very quick clock, unless I draw into something. And it's like I'm already on a mulligan to 6 because I have double Sigarda's Aid, so let's mulligan. Alright, we have double Stoneforge, 2 lands, Blacksmith Skill, Paradise Mantle, and Sigarda's Aid. This one we'll keep. And let's get rid of... Do I want to get rid of Stoneforge Mystic or Paradise Mantle? Because I think I definitely want all of these. Let's get rid of the Paradise Mantle, I think. If I really need it, I can get it with the second Stoneforge. Let's just go Seachrome Coast, Sigarda's Aid. Our opponent might be able to Prismatic End it or something, but we can just go for Cauldron with Stoneforge if that happens. Opponent bobbles us, plays Misty. They draw a card with their bobble. We draw Ornithopter. Okay. Let's play Stoneforge. Yes. And let's just go for Kaldra. This incentivizes them to get rid of Stoneforge Mystic during their main phase, and then if we draw land, we can go Stoneforge Mystic, get Colossus Hammer, play it on Ornithopter, attack for 10. Which does not seem bad. Okay, they get rid of it now with Unholy Heat, that's fine. Opponent plays a tapped Steam Fence, okay. We draw Giver of Runes. Let's play a bit conservatively. I'd rather wait on the second Stoneforge until I can protect it with Blacksmith Skill and or Giver of Runes. I think our best possible draw here is probably an Urza Saga, so we get to do that and then also have a Saga for future turns. Prismatic Ending. Let's protect it. Opponent has 5 cards in hand and 2 mana up. We draw Flooded Strand. Let's go ahead and fetch, get a basic Plains. Play Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Yes. Get Colossus Hammer. Go to combat. Attack with Ornithopter. Technically get past blocks. Okay. Play Hammer. Equip up Ornithopter. We can protect from 1 removal spell with the Giver of Runes here. Smack our opponent, down to 5, and pass. Alright. What you got, opponent? They need double removal spell to get rid of Ornithopter, and they also need to be able to get rid of Stoneforge Mystic since we have the Kaldra, attacking for exactly 5 next turn. So hopefully they just don't have enough here. It looks like they're going for an Ice Fang Quaddle, which means they probably don't have enough. They could have Solitude Prismatic Ending pretty easy. And they concede. Sweet. Got them. Alright. What do we want to bring in? Lavinia, definitely. Hushbringer, definitely. Probably Pithing Needle. And I like Mana Leaks against Yorion decks as well because Spell Pierce doesn't do as much. Spell Pierce is still definitely better bang for your buck if you're actually hitting a non-creature spell with it, but hitting Solitudes and stuff or Omnats with Mana Leak is really important. It's got Steel Shaper's Gift, cut Paradise Mantle, cut Ginger Root. Yeah, I think I just want Mana Leaks instead of Spell Pierces most likely here. But I have to find space for the Mana Leaks, and I'm not sure if I want all 3 or just 2. Giver of Runes is definitely good and stays. Blacksmith skill is definitely good and stays. Reality Chip, I think, is a little bit too hard to actually use against them, most likely. Let's only bring in 2 Mana Leaks. Let's cut... I don't know. Kaldra, I feel like, is necessary so we can produce a clock with just a Stoneforge Mystic. But they can just get rid of it pretty easy, so it's not super good against them. Maybe I cut the Kaldra complete. Because this doesn't seem like the matchup where it typically shines in, really. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Feels a little weird, but... because they have so much in the way of ways to bounce the Germ token or just exile it with like Solitude or Prismatic Ending, I don't think that it's worth relying on. This hand's reasonable. It doesn't have a very fast clock, but we have Lavinia and Esper Sentinels, so we get to disrupt our opponent pretty well. And we already have our Sigarda's Aid for whenever we find a hammer, so I think I'll keep it. Opponent plays Misty and passes. We draw Seachrome Coast. Let's just go Sea Chrome Coast, Esper Sentinel. Possibly get a card draw if they play a Wrenn 6 or something. Next turn, we'll see what they do. We draw Stoneforge Mystic. Interesting. Let's go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent plays Coatl. Okay. Blocks, that's fine. Let's play Flooded Strand, fetch, get a Plains. And I think I just want to go ahead and play Lavinia here. They could bounce it with like a Teferi pretty easily, but we're stopping them from evoking anything. Traverse the Ulvenwald. What are they getting with that? Snow-covered forest. Okay. Do they have... They have abundant growth. Okay. Well, they didn't have an answer immediately for Lavinia, so that's good news for us. Let's play Sigarda's Aid. That way we can protect Lavinia from a shock with Shadow Spear. Play Silent Clearing. Play Esper Sentinel. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Opponent goes down to 17. Alright. Stoneforge is geared up to get our hammer sometime soon. We don't have a blacksmith skill, and I'd really like to have one of those. They play Risen Reef, alright. So if they're tapped out, that would be fantastic for us. Hopefully they don't hit another land this turn. They didn't hit one with Risen Reef. Do they have a land to play from hand? Because if they're tapped out, we might just be able to sort of get them dead. Alright, let's Shadow Spear. Equip up. Good old Esper Sentinel. We draw Giver of Runes for... Play Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Yes. Get Hammer. Attack with the boys. Since their shield's down, we might as well just get in as much damage as we can. I could gain more life by putting it on Esper Sentinel, but I think I'd rather have the hammer be on Lavinia. Although they're more incentivized to get rid of the Lavinia, so I think I go with the Esper Sentinel. It feels a little weird. Maybe I should have put Shadow Spear on Lavinia so they couldn't Unholy Heat it away until they get another card type in their graveyard. But our opponent is on quite the clock right now, and next turn I can move Shadow Spear over to Lavinia, so I have 2 things that are attacking for lethal. Prismatic End, we get to draw a card. Alright. Opponent Ephemerates Risen Reef. Okay. They have 1 green mana. Let's see if they hit a land. They do not. Do they have a land to play from hand? They do. They play Misty. So Misty means if they have an Icefang Coatl, they can actually have Death Touch on it now. We'll see if that winds up mattering. But we can force them to block with Risen Reef most likely here. We draw Esper Sentinel. Okay. I could try to draw a card with Silent Clearing, or I could just go like Esper Sentinel, Giver of Runes, re-equip, Shadow Spear, get in. Oh, I can't do all that because of Sea Chrome Coast. That's kind of annoying, actually. I'm attacking for 3 either way. Is it worth attacking in with Lavinia? Probably not. I think I'd rather go... I feel like they're representing Icefang Quaddle. So I think I just attack with the Stoneforge Mystic here. Although I force them to block with their Risen Reef if they don't have the Icefang Quaddle. But I do think that's what they have. So let's just attack with the Stoneforge Mystic and leave Lavinia back because it's very important to us. I feel like they have a lot of Evoke Elementals in their hand. Risen Reef dies. Fantastic. We'll play a tapped Seachrome Coast. Play Giver of Runes. Play another Esper Sentinel. And let's see what our opponent has. Opponent goes down to 2. Gets Spar's Headquarters. Okie dokie. Ephemerate stays in exile. Fantastic. They have 7 cards in hand, but can they do anything with it? They play Supreme Verdict. Alright, so we're going to get to draw a couple cards at least. Inkmoth Nexus, Blacksmith Skill. Alright. Unfortunate that they had the Verdict there. They usually only run 1 out of their sideboard, and sometimes they don't even when they're on the Risen Reef build. But let's see what we have. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. That gets us another hammer, and we have Inkmoth Nexus now as well. Do I want to draw a card with Silent Clearing? I might as well wait, I think, and just go ahead and play Stoneforge. Get the hammer. Do I hammer up now, or do I wait? I'll wait. I want the option to hammer on Inkmoth Nexus, although it doesn't really matter since they're at 2 anyway. Yeah, I can hammer on Inkmoth Nexus and put Shadow Spear on Stoneforge. That seems pretty nice. Opponent plays Teferi. Is there anything I want to Blacksmith Skill now because of that? I could Blacksmith Skill Sigarda's Aid to stop them from prismatically ending it. Skill is just worse now in general. They're at 2. So if they bounce Sigarda's Aid, I'm kind of fine with that. I think I want to stop them from playing Prismatic Ending on Sigarda's Aid, so let's just go Blacksmith Skill now. And then plan on popping Silent Clearing with our extra mana after Teferi comes down. So like if they bounce Stoneforge Mystic, we're fine with that. We can just get another hammer. If they bounce one of these, we're fine with that because we can re-equip with Sigarda's Aid more easily. They probably have some amount of Solitude, at the very least, in their hand. Maybe other stuff. But we shall see. Opponent seems to be in the tank, so that's probably a good sign for us at the very least. If I was thinking they had Supreme Verdict, I definitely shouldn't have played out that last turn the way that I did, but oh well. I got to draw a couple cards off Esper Sentinel at least, so it's not as bad as it looked like, but it was still really bad for tempo. Hopefully I can still eke out a win here, since I have my opponent all the way down to 2 already. But we'll see. What other sideboard cards do I have that might be good here? If I had a third Blacksmith Skill in my sideboard, I think that would definitely come in this matchup. Relic is a little bit relevant, but not that much, because we're not really planning on the game going long enough that Wrenn 6 matters, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think Path to Exile ever comes in because it's a bit too niche. And it's more for like aggressive decks that we want to get rid of a creature against. March doesn't really make sense to bring in. Sanctifier dodges red removal, but most of their removal that we're concerned about is white, so it doesn't really matter. They just plus to fairy. Alright. They probably have Prismatic Ending in their hand. Ah, shit, I didn't pop Silent Clearing. I'm an idiot. Alright. Let's... Animating Moth Nexus. Play Colossus Hammer. Put it on Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, we have 2 lethal creatures, so they have to have some significant interaction. Let's just play Urza's Saga, so we take less damage. We're going to be tapped out effectively anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Do we have it? Do they have like a Force of Vigor here, maybe? Force of Vigor is probably the best thing they could have. Solitude Ephemerate would also be really good against us here. All at your face. What you got, opponent? They have Icefang Coatl. Alright. That can block one, and then they can Solitude the other. They didn't have it. Sweet. Alright. Good start. Pretty lucky. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 2 with Hammer. We won the die roll again, so we will take the play. We have Cauldron Complete, Steel Shaper's Gift, Blacksmith Skill, Colossus Hammer, Urza's Saga, Seachrome Coast, Hollowed Fountain. So we have a lot of equipments and no way to cheat them into play yet, but we have an Urza's Saga. On the play with just an Urza's Saga and a Blacksmith Skill honestly isn't that bad by itself. This feels like a mulligan to 6 because of the Cauldron Complete and no way to put it in. But we have 8 cards that we could draw to put this hammer into play and equip it onto something, and even without that we have Urza's Saga and protection for it. I think I keep this. It's like the bare minimum of what I think would be a keepable hand, but it has enough of a game plan and potential by itself that I think I might as well go for it. Like, I think I would keep this 6. Even though the Steel Shaper's Gift does feel kind of awkward here. What do I get with the gift, do you think? Just another hammer? Maybe... I definitely fire it off here. I think I probably get a Colossus Hammer with it. I could get... I don't think Shadow Spear's right. I don't think Paradise Mantle's right. Maybe I get Reality Chip and play that on turn 2. Honestly, not that bad, because that at least gives me another creature that I can put a hammer on. But then if I draw a 2-drop next turn, Reality Chip is the most awkward thing. Maybe I get Paradise Mantle. Let's get Reality Chip. Reality Chip is the most interesting out of those cards, I think. And I can get Paradise Mantle or Shadow Spear or another Colossus Hammer with Urza's Saga later, so I might as well get Reality Chip now. Maybe whatever's on top of my deck can inform my decisions and make me play a little bit better. Opponent plays Seachrome Coast. Springleaf Drum looks like. Could be Hammer, could be Blue-White Affinity. Memnite still could be either. Esper Sentinel still could be either. We draw Stoneforge Mystic. Stoneforge Mystic, I think, means that we just go Hollowed Fountain into Stoneforge here. Yes. Let's get Paradise Mantle with this one. And pass. Alright, what does our opponent have for turn 2? Their opening hand was definitely more explosive than ours. And Esper Sentinel could be annoying. We'll see what happens with that. But maybe I also just get to beat them to death with the Culture Complete and it doesn't matter. Opponent plays a Saga. What you got, opponent? Shadow Spear. Still could be either Blue-Eyed Affinity or Hammer. Okay, Thoughtcast, that's Blue-Eyed Affinity. Opponent has 4 cards in hand and 1 mana. So their Construct tokens are likely going to be larger than ours, for the most part in these games. Draw another Blacksmith skill. Okay. Play Saga. They probably have... They probably have an Aether Spellbomb they can get with Saga to answer Culture Complete, so we have to remember that with Blacksmith skill. But I think I just put Culture Complete into play here, and then pay 1 to cast Paradise Mantle just to get another artifact into play. I think that seems like a reasonable decision to do. I'll attack first, so if they have Dispatch or something here, we can protect Culture Complete. Living Weapon triggers, okay. Attack for 5. We need to soften up our opponent's life total a little bit so we can possibly kill them with a hammer later. Cast Paradise Mantle. Okay. Pay the 1. Yes. Alright, what's our opponent got? Your shield's down right now because we played that Paradise Mantle, but I think it was necessary to get more artifacts in place so our construct tokens are a little bit better. Because theirs are going to be significantly larger. Our Germ is probably going to be on defense for a little bit because of that. Kaldra is a really good defensive creature, honestly. Since it doesn't have Vigilance or Lifelink, of course it's not like the all-star defensive creature, but having First Strike and essentially Death Touch is really, really good on pretty much anything. So our opponent can either spend 3 mana to make a construct or do something else. If they have a land to play, they might be able to Thoughtcast again, but they can't quite Thought Monitor yet. They could tap 4 mana to play an Urza, but then they don't get the construct from Urza's Saga. Curious, curious. Darksteel Citadel. Alright. Opponent has 4 mana and 4 cards in hand. What you got? We would really like to draw a Pure Steel Paladin here. Sigarda's Aid would be fine too, of course, but... Or a land would be fine too, honestly. Anything that isn't a Seachrome Coast. So then we can hold up Blacksmith skill and then also make a construct. From what I understand, this is exactly the type of matchup that you actually want Reality Chip in. So I'm glad that I have it already. We don't have a way to equip it yet, of course. Damn, they already have Aether Spellbomb. That kind of sucks. That definitely backfires our plan on protecting with Blacksmith skill, unless they just pass. If they pop Spellbomb here, at least they don't get a construct, so that's kind of nice. Interesting. Alright, they let it through. And we drew Sigarda's Aid. So that means we can actually go Sigarda's Aid, attack with the Germ. They try to bounce, most likely. They might just make a construct and block. Then we can protect it with Blacksmith Skill and Colossus Hammer. And depending on how and if they block, they might just be dead. So I think I just gotta go for it here, right? Yeah, I think I just go for it. Play Sigarda's Aid. They could also have Metallic Rebuke, which would be annoying. But it's sort of unlikely. Let's let them draw the card. Gotta make sure they have the chance to get that Metallic Rebuke if they don't have it already. Go to combat. Do I attack with Stoneforge as well? I think I do. Because it sort of incentivizes them to possibly let that through. Yeah, let's do it like that. Just try to maximize our damage. Hopefully we can actually kill them here. Do they block? They don't block. Let's play Colossus Hammer. Attach to target creature you control. Let's put it on Stoneforge. Alright, they need another counterspell or another removal spell. Because we're getting in with lethal now. Alright, cross your fingers for me. Hopefully this will just be an easy game 1. Game 2 and 3 is probably going to be a bit harder because they're likely to have like 1 or 2 copies of Hurkyl's Recall. And they could blow us out with that pretty easily. Blacksmith Skill? Please don't have a counterspell. Please don't have anything. Got him. Sweet. All right. Yes! They got greedy. They should have bounced during their turn. All right, so we bring in 2 March of Otherworldly Light. We bring in 2 Lavinia. Probably Pithing Needle. And maybe Hushbringer, but probably not. Definitely not Sanctifier and Vec. Definitely not Relic. There's sort of an argument for Mana Leak since we can hit like Urza when they tap out for it. But I think we're already kind of sideboarding heavily, so I don't think that's really necessary. We cut Steel Shaper's Gift. We cut Spell Pierce, keep the Blacksmith skills. If they have Hurkyl's Recall, I'll probably bring Spell Pierces or Mana Leaks back in. But I don't think I want to rely on that too much. We don't want to have too many non-creature spells that don't actually impact the board because of Esper Sentinel on our opponent's side. So we need to get rid of 2 more cards. Gingerbread is kind of an option, I guess. It's nice that it breaks up a board stall, but I think we can already kind of do that with just giving our stuff trample. Maybe Giver of Runes, since they don't have that much removal. And we keep the Blacksmith skills to protect from Ether Spellbomb. How much removal do you think they're going to bring in? They probably have Portable Holes as a playset, so maybe we do want all the Giver of Runes. Maybe I cut down on Cauldron Complete because they have Portable Holes and they have Portable Hole, Dispatch, and Ether Spellbomb as their removal, so basically everything hits Cauldron Complete already. So I think I go down the Cauldron here. Basically the same reason as we did against Yorion. And I like Reality Chip here. I think I go down either Paradise Mantle or Gingerbrute. I'm leaning towards Paradise Mantle. So let's do it like that. Lavinia stops them from playing like Thoughtcast, and there are 0 drops that can get stuck in their hand. We have Urza Saga, no other lands, so we gotta mulligan this for sure. We have Lavinia, Colossus Hammer, Esper Sentinel, Giver of Runes, 3 lands. I think we keep this, just ditch a land. It seems fine. We can lead on Giver of Runes to protect our stuff, most likely. Even though Esper Sentinel early can give us a better chance of drawing a card, I think Giver of Runes not having Summoning Sickness is a bit more important, and then we can get Lavinia down on turn 2 more likely. Let's get rid of... Might as well get rid of Hollowed Fountain since we have Flooded Strand anyway. We can just get that or Plains and thin our deck a little bit. Opponent plays Springleaf Drum, Memnite. They have 3 cards in hand. How much do they mulligan to? Yeah, they mulligan to 6. Okay, we drew Pure Steel Paladin. Interesting. Let's go ahead and play Giver. And pass. So the more prison-y start is us playing Lavinia next turn to stop them from playing more Memnites or Thoughtcasts. The more aggressive start is playing probably Pure Steel Paladin next turn so we can have a better chance of getting in with a Colossus Hammer early. But we still don't have Metalcraft either way. We drew a Hollowed Fountain. That kind of sucks. Let's play Flooded Strand to get a basic Plains since we drew another Hollowed Fountain. And they're not representing a Metallic Rebuke here. So I guess we go ahead and go for Lavinia. They missed a land drop too, which is pretty nice. It resolves. Sweet. And we'll wait and see if they have removal for Lavinia and protect it with Giver of Runes. And if they spend 2 pieces of removal to get rid of Lavinia, that's great because that means we're more likely to get in with these guys relatively soon. Next turn I probably go Pure Steel Paladin, Colossus Hammer to draw a card maybe. Or maybe I just go Esper Sentinel and wait on the Paladin. Sequencing is really interesting with this deck, because you want the Colossus Hammers to be a surprise, but you also kind of want the value from drawing a card with Pure Steel Paladin as early as possible. Ornithopter. Okay. That gets us a lot closer to having Metalcraft, so that's fantastic. And our opponent missed a land drop again. So let's go Esper Sentinel. Ornithopter. Go ahead and play out Pure Steel. Combat for 2. And they've missed land drops and not done anything for long enough that I think we should just be able to steamroll them for the rest of this game. However much of it is left. They get to chump block with a Memnite, but we can still get in for 5 and attack for 10 with the Ornithopter, so it's not like that's that big of a deal. While holding back the Giver of Runes still. And then if we have another Colossus Hammer, I think we just win. Does opponent let us draw a card here? Cool. I'm just going to wait on the Pithing Needle. They can name Giver of Runes, that's kind of fine. If I Giver of Runes now and then they have like instant speed removal or something, they can, like a path, they could punish me by naming Colossus Hammer with Pithing Needle instead and just pathing like Pure Steel or Lavinia. So I'd rather them have to pick which one they want to do. It could have been correct for me to... Yeah, they named Colossus Hammer, that's fine. Makes sense. We still have a pretty aggressive board against them, so hopefully it doesn't matter all that much. And if we draw Sigarda's Aid, we can equip anyway, so it doesn't necessarily affect things. Dispatch. Let's give Pure Steel Pro White, just in case they have a land here. Okay, we draw Inkmoth Nexus. Let's go Esper Sentinel. Inkmoth Nexus. Because of Sigarda's Aid, I think I just leave Colossus Hammer in hand and attack for 5. Because I could just get surprise kill with Inkmoth Nexus, attacking for 11 Infect. Then it goes down to 13. They found a land, finally. Ingenious Smith, okay. Hopefully they let us draw a couple cards again. That'd be very nice of them. Portable Hole. Looks like they're going to let us draw some cards. Alright, so what are they going to Portable Hole that is worth letting us draw 2 free cards with Esper Sentinel? Do you think? They could pick Lavinia if they have a bunch of 0-drops in hand, or they could pick Pure Steel Paladin, but they already have... They picked Lavinia. Weird. Weird, weird. What would I want to needle here? I don't really want to needle anything. I can get in for 1 with Inkmoth Nexus or 2 with Pure Steel if I don't care about the Pure Steel anymore. Do I just want to draw a card with Colossus Hammer, or do I want to keep waiting for possible Sigarda's Aid? I think I want to keep waiting at this point. Definitely playing Urza Saga. I think I needle Ether Spell Bomb in case they get one of those, because that's a reasonable way that they could interact with our board on an activated ability. I think I just pass. I could attack for 1 with Infect, technically, but I don't really want to give away that we're already thinking about Infect here. Razortide Bridge, Ingenious Smith Grows. Opponent has 3 cards in hand and 3 mana. If they cast something, they're probably going to let us draw some cards again, which would be fantastic of them. And they pass. Alright. What do we get? Another Colossus Hammer. Alright. So I definitely play one of the Colossus Hammers now, so I get to draw a card. Let's play Flooded Strand. Go ahead and get a Plains out. Play a Hammer. Draw a card. Yes. Stoneforge Mystic. Interesting. We can go tap, tap. Play Stoneforge Mystic. Counterspell. If they go for Metallic Rebuke here, do I pay for it? I guess we'll see based on what we draw. They could absolutely have another counterspell. They don't pay for anything. And if they do, I can get Reality Chip, and that's kind of nice. But it has 2 cards in hand. If I get Reality Chip, I can't play it anyway. My constructs are, how big are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I just want to make a construct. Stoneforge. Sorry, bud. Pass. Yeah, the constructs are just more valuable than getting a Reality Chip next turn, because I might be able to kill my opponent instead of just dirtling for a turn. Looks like they might have an Urza here. Yep, they do. Opponent gets a construct. It's a 6/6. Ingenious Smith grows up to a 4/4. They do have a decent amount of blockers, I'll give that to them, but our guys are just kind of going to be bigger here. And I can get Shadow Spear with Pure Steel Paladin and draw a card and also have Trample. They have blue mana, which probably can't interact with our board unless they have Hurkyl's Recall. I hope. Seachrome Coast, not very exciting of a draw. Make another construct. Construct grows to a 7/7. Get Shadow Spear. Draw a card. Grows to an 8/8. Yes, I would love to draw a card. Sigarda's Aid. Hooray. Alright. Let's play Sigarda's Aid. So now, if they Hurkyl's Recall, we can punish them. I should have moved over Shadow Spear, that was dumb. Do we think they have another counterspell? Let's just attack for 8 here. I forgot to move the Shadow Spear over, unfortunately. Blocks with the Construct, blocks with Ingenious Smith. I would much rather kill their Construct. Do I think they have a counterspell? I'd rather wait. Alright. Pass the turn. Colossus Hammer is still threatening them with the Inkmoth Nexus. That was definitely a bit of a misplay, though. Let's see what our opponent does here. What are our best draws? March would be really good because then we can get rid of Pithing Needle or possibly get rid of just like Portable Hole or a blocker. Opponent plays an Esper Sentinel, that's fine. We are most likely going to pay for those taxes because we don't want them to have too many extra cards. Let's see if they let us draw some more cards again here. Portable Hole. Damn, I didn't even move Shadow Spear over second main phase. I'm so stupid. Okay. Opponent taps. I assume they're going to target Sigarda's Aid here, in which case I will just flash in this Colossus Hammer. They have one card in hand. They target the Construct. Alright. Well, that doesn't matter that much to us, at least. They have one card in hand, so they could have a counterspell. They attack for 5. Okay. I'm just going to let that through. I don't really care. What is our draw for turn? Flooded Strand. Alright. Let's go ahead and play that. Activate Inkmoth. Shadow Spear on... Esper Sentinel. Go to combat. Attack, attack, attack. If they just have a removal spell here, that would be kind of annoying. They double block the Esper Sentinel. Okay. Let's crack Flooded Strand to thin our deck. We go down to 10. Get a basic Plains. Play Colossus Hammer. We can pay for Metallic Rebuke if they have that. I will pay for their Esper Sentinel here. I don't want to double the amount of cards they have access to. What you got, opponent? Tapping mana, Metallic Rebuke. You're going to let us draw some cards, it looks like, and then we can tap 3 for the Metallic Rebuke, and it doesn't matter. Excellent. Flooding out a little bit there actually helped. Very interesting. But it's tapping down for the Esper Sentinels. They gotta know that we can tap our 3 lands, right? We draw Stoneforge Mystic. Metallic Rebuke resolves. Pay for that shit. Yes. And hammer on to Inkmoth. Alright, cool. Getting in with Infect. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 3 with Hammer. We lost the die roll. We have Paradise Mantle, Sigarda's Aid, Ornithopter, Cauldra, Plains. Caldra's awkward in this hand. We are sort of on a mulligan to 5 because of the way that we drew, so let's mulligan. Hammer, Stoneforge, Esper Sentinel, Land, Ornithopter, Paradise Mantle. We're definitely keeping this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do I want Paradise Mantle or Ornithopter more? Is the question. I'm leaning towards Mantle. But Mantle plus Ornithopter is kind of nice too. Let's get rid of Ornithopter. See what our opponent's doing. Stoneforge is probably just going to get Cauldra here since we already have a hammer anyway and we don't have a way to equip it yet. If we happen to find a Sigarda's Aid, we'll be happy to attack with hammer, but it's not the worst case situation as far as that goes. Our opponent's not playing a companion either, which is pretty nice. It looks like our opponent is still mulliganing. They went down to 5 and they haven't decided to keep yet. Wonder what they're going to be on. They could be on a deck that wants to mulligan, like, they mulligan to 4. So either they're very unlucky or they're playing something like Oops All Spells or maybe Dredge. Tron usually doesn't go all the way down to 4, so I kind of doubt that. But it is possible, I guess. Did they mulligan further? Alright, they kept. Let's see what our opponent's doing. Mishra's Bauble. So it doesn't look like any of those things. Scalding Tarn. Are they Murktide deck that mulligan to 4? Jesus Christ. Maybe Shadow or something? Still, that's crazy. Opponent baubles us. Okay. What did they see? They see a Cauldra. Alright, well, Stoneforge isn't getting Cauldra, it's getting a hammer. Let's just go ahead and go... Arid Mesa, fetch. Hollowed Fountain, make sure we have plenty of blue mana in case we need it, and Esper Sentinel. Pass. So maybe we get even further ahead on cards because of this Esper Sentinel, we will see. They get Watery Grave, so it looks more like Shadow and less like a Murktide deck now. Let's see what they do on their turn. They could still be like maybe that Asmor Time Sieve deck, but I still don't think that they would mulligan to 4 if they could help it. Just based on these cards, though, that is technically possible. I feel like it's just going to be Grixis Shadow. Urza Saga. Maybe I was right about it being the Asmor Time Sieve deck. Suddenly things seem more possible. Pure Steel Paladin. Okay, interesting. What does Pure Steel Paladin mean for us? Because Paradise Mantle cares about... They have 3 cards. Because Paradise Mantle cares about our creatures having summoning sickness, we can't go Pure Steel, Paradise Mantle, Colossus Hammer, and all that stuff yet. We wouldn't be able to sequence that actually anyway, because we would go Pure Steel, Paradise Mantle, draw a card, and unless we draw Ornithopter, we wouldn't have Metalcraft yet. So I think we just go Stoneforge Mystic here. Go ahead and play it now. I would rather them kill the Stoneforge Mystic, since they know about Cauldra, than have them kill our Pure Steel Paladin when it matters. If they're playing Thoughtseize, they could get Pure Steel, and that would be sad. Do I want to get another Colossus Hammer and just go for straight lethal? Definitely an option. Or do I just want to get Reality Chip and call it a day? Let's go for Hammer. Might as well just be aggressive while we can. I would love for them to let us draw an extra card, because we kind of need another land. But we'll see what happens. Opponent rolls up their Saga. And concedes. Okay, well, that was weird. I'm pretty sure I know what they're playing, though, so that's good at least. Let's bring in Pithing Needle, March March, Lavinia's. Possibly some other stuff, we'll see. And let's cut. I think Caldra's good here because they're going to have mostly black-based removal, I think. Let's cut Paradise Mantle, Steel Shaper's Gift, Reality Chip because I think they'll have plenty of interaction for it. Ginger Brute. Do I want Relic? I kind of feel like I do. Do I want Path? Probably not. Do I want Sanctifier Invec? There's a good argument for Sanctifier Invec, since it has protection from black, so I think I do want that, and I think I cut Blacksmith skills. And... what? I could see cutting down a Spell Pierce here, because I don't think it's all that important, really. Like, I think we can just kind of race them. Maybe, yeah, maybe I go down both the Spell Pierces and I keep the Reality Chip. I think that's actually fine. Because Reality Chip can be important for us playing a long game if they make a bunch of constructs or something. Having March in our opening hand is nice, but we don't have anything to do with these hammers. And Pithing Needle is kind of underwhelming, so let's mulligan. Alright, this is fine, we'll keep. We want a Sagardazade again, but not in too much of a rush for it. Let's just get rid of an Ornithopter since we have two of them. We have Inkmoth Nexus to possibly get in for an Infect kill. We have Stoneforge Mystic to tutor for most likely Cauldra. And we have an Urza Saga that we can make boys with. So that seems pretty good. Plays Underworld Cookbook, so that is exactly what they were playing. We were right about that at least. They play Mishra's Bauble. We draw. What? They're going to bobble us first, that's fine. We draw Plains. Yeah, I think I'd rather go ahead and play Arid Mesa. Run out Ornithopter in case we draw Sagardazade. And just pass. No reason to play the Colossus Hammer, since drawing a Sagardazade could be our way to kill them with Inkmoth Nexus or start getting in with Ornithopter here. And at the end of their turn, I'm just going to crack Arid Mesa and get a Hollowed Fountain. Opponent could resolve an Asmor here if they have one, and then possibly start picking things off with Underworld Cookbook. But we'll see. Opponent fetches. If they play Asmor, I probably just don't get Stoneforge Mystic in play and just wait, because I need to Needle Asmor in that scenario. Discards a land, makes a food. They have 4 cards in hand. I assume they have an Asmor here. Yep, they play Asmor. Okie dokie. Would also be nice to draw a March, so I can just get rid of that. That's another cookbook. Okie dokie, place the cookbook. They can start killing things now, but they don't have the creature that comes back whenever they make a food with cookbook yet. So that's nice at least. It's not completely free kill spells on their end yet. Still costs them 2 cards each time. Our opponent seems to be thinking about whether they want to go ahead and make a food or not. They have 3 cards in hand. What are other sideboard cards we could bring in against them? Mana Leak isn't bad, but it's a bit too slow. Most of their stuff is like around 1 mana cost, sometimes 2, and very rarely 3. So it's probably not worth it. We draw another Stoneforge. I think that means that I do go ahead and play a Stoneforge here. Let's play Urza Saga. Cast Stoneforge Mystic. Yes. Go ahead and get Kaldra. Force them to deal with the Stoneforge Mystic. Pass the turn. Probably still just planning on making constructs with Urza Saga for the next couple of turns, since I can play Inkmoth Nexus and just pass next turn. Gear per Ether Grid, oh lord. Alright. That's a little unexpected. Very spicy though, I like Grid quite a lot. What's our opponent got? 2 cards in hand. They can't actually kill anything with Ether Grid right now unless they have a Mishra's Bauble in their hand, I don't think. They could kill something with Asmor, but that's not quite as good. Okay, make a food, discarding Unearth. They have 1 card in hand. They kill Stoneforge, that's fine. Our opponent's very light on resources right now. They hit us for 3. They only have 2 artifacts in play. We draw Sanctifier Invect. That's a nice draw. Still just going to make a construct here, though, I think. Let's just pass. So now since they're light on resources, they can make 2 more food. Hopefully they don't have... What's the name of that card? Hopefully we just don't see it, so I don't get to know what the name of it is, but the card that comes back from your graveyard to your hand whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control. Let's go ahead and make a construct. They could kill the construct here with the food, but they don't. Okay. And we're gonna needle the shit out of Asmor or Underworld Cookbook. Fatal Push. That's fine. Sigarda's Aid. Interesting. What does Sigarda's Aid mean for me here? They could still just have another Fatal Push, so I don't really want to just go for the kill with Inkmoth Nexus yet. I think it's smarter to just wait and cast Sigarda's Aid from hand. I think I needle Underworld Cookbook. Since they don't have any food anyway, it doesn't really matter, and that stops them from producing. It stops them from producing more artifacts to make Ether Grid relevant, and it also stops them from using Cookbook to make any of their other cards really problems for us. Go ahead and play Sigarda's Aid. And pass. They could have Artifact Destruction since they have the red splash, but it's sort of unlikely that they find it with just 2 cards in their hand. And we can go in and be aggressive soon. If they tap out, which it looks like they're doing, they play Academy Manufactor. So now they're just dead to Inkmoth Nexus. Fine by me. I'll trade for Asmor. I think that's worth it. Yeah, they're just dead to... No, they're not dead to Inkmoth Nexus because of Ether Grid. Damn. So I still have to wait. That's a little unfortunate, but okay. Still glad I got Asmor off the board just in case they figure out a way to start making more food. Our opponent has a stop in our upkeep for whatever reason. I think I'm going to go ahead and play... Ooh, we drew Lavinia. Interesting. We can get in for 10 with Ornithopter that they can't really do anything about. We can also just go Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, let's go Stoneforge Mystic. Get Colossus Hammer, so we have another one. So then they're being even more threatened. And if they let us untap with the Stoneforge, we get to get in with that. Or with Kaldra. Yup, hit you for 10. Big bonk. Opponent's at 4. What you got, opponent? Probably nothing, I hope. They could have, like, Hurkyl's Recall. Alright, they concede. Sweet! Really good league so far. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, round 4 with Hammer. We lost the die roll. We have the Sigarda's Aid double Hammer opener with Stoneforge Mystic, Inkmoth Nexus, and Esper Sentinel, and a Hollowed Fountain. So let's just keep this. This is very good. Unfortunately, we don't have an Ornithopter, but we could draw one, so we might have a turn 2 kill here. Let's keep. See what our opponent's up to. Inspiring Vantage, probably burn. Giver Runes, not burn. Actually, they have Yorion, so what am I on about? It looks like it's the Boros Taxes deck. We drew a plane, so let's just go ahead and play that. Do I want to go ahead and play Sigarda's Aid, or do I wait and play Esper Sentinel? I think it's sort of unlikely that I get to draw any cards with Esper Sentinel here, so I think I go ahead and play Sigarda's Aid. Just to go ahead and have it in play. Next turn I'm probably going to go Inkmoth Nexus, Stoneforge Mystic. Showing them Kaldra. And we'll see from there. Prismatic Ending, sad. Yeah, definitely showing them Kaldra now. We couldn't have really played around that Prismatic Ending, unfortunately. Let's go Inkmoth Nexus, Stoneforge. Yes. Kaldra complete. Pass the turn. Let's see if they have removal for Stoneforge. It's not all that unlikely. They could also just get rid of the Germ token pretty easily by having a Solitude or another Prismatic Ending. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Leonin Arbiter, a little late to the party. We draw Spell Pierce, also a little late to the party. Let's play Hollowed Fountain, let's play Esper Sentinel. And let's go ahead and get in with Kaldra, I think. They can give Pro Black to Leonin Arbiter, but we still just have trample damage, so it's getting in one way or another. It's just not getting in for as much as it could be. Do they have a Solitude here? If they do, I'm kind of fine with them playing it, because they only have 4 cards in hand, and then they would only have 3 after they draw for turn. Steel Shaper's Gift is a little underwhelming. We'll see what we wind up doing with that, or if we wind up doing anything with it because of Leonin Arbiter. And Spell Pierce technically could be useful, but is not very right now. Alright, opponent gives Pro Black. That's fine. Opponent takes 3 down to 17. 17 all. Let's see what our opponent does on their turn. They play another Plains. Hitting me with the Guilds of Ravnica basic Plains. Very spicy. They play a Stoneforge Mystic. They can't search because they have a Leonin Arbiter in play. Alright. That was, maybe they already have a Kaldra in their hand? But if not, that was just weird. Alright. We draw Arid Mesa. Again, not very good with the Leonin Arbiter. But we could pay 2 to attack in through Leonin Arbiter. We could get a Hollowed Fountain, or keep up our Hollowed Fountain to leave up Spell Pierce, and then we could also use Steel Shaper's Gift and get, like, Reality Chip or something this turn, maybe. Chip doesn't seem bad against this kind of matchup, since the board's getting gummed up already. Let's go ahead and go to combat. Attack for 5. Realistically getting in for about 3 probably again. Maybe they'll just let it through since protection could technically matter here in case we have removal, but they probably just know that we don't have that. Okay. And now I get to try to figure out how Leonin Arbiter works on Moto. I assume I'm going to click the Leonin Arbiter and then it gives me the option to pay 2. Alright, that's exactly how it works. Pay 2, play Arid Mesa, fetch. I'm going to conserve my life total and just get a basic Plains. I don't have that many blue cards anyway. Although, if I'm getting Reality Chip, I might want double blue. Yeah, I do want double blue. So let's get Hollowed Fountain. Cast Steel Shaper's Gift. I could get Shadow Spear, that's not that bad. I think Reality Chip is still the pick, though. And pass the turn with Spell Pierce up in case they have like a prismatic ending that they let me counter with it somehow. Because they pay 1 for Esper Sentinel, maybe. Or maybe they have an Ephemerate that I get to counter with it. Would be nice as well. Just a little bit of assurance. Skyclave Apparition. Okay. Well, you can't get our token with it, so they get Stoneforge Mystic. Alright. I guess we can't flash in our Reality Chip anymore. Oh yeah, I didn't need to get the blue because I could have used Stoneforge to put it into play. That's interesting. Luckily, I played around this scenario without even doing it on purpose, though. Okay. What you got, opponent? Reality Chip just being an 0-4 blocker in this matchup, honestly, is just not that bad. Opponent attacks. We'll take 3, down to 11. Okie dokie. We draw. Pure Steel Paladin. Alright. That could very probably just win us the game here. Play Pure Steel. Play Hammer. Draw a card. Yes. We drew Sigarda's Aid. Equip to you. Play Hammer. Draw a card. Okay, cool. What do we want to bring in? Hushbringer seems pretty good. Pithing Needle is probably correct. Path to Exile seems like it could be right. Lavinia could be fine because of Solitude, but it doesn't do that much other than that. I think we want Hushbringer for sure. I think Pithing Needle comes in for sure because they probably have Ether Vials as a 4-of in their deck. And Path to Exile is inconclusive right now. I think we cut Spell Pierces pretty safely, and I think we cut Steel Shaper's Gift. Is there anything else? Sanctifier Infect doesn't really do anything. Lavinia doesn't do much. Mana Leak is kind of good, since it actually counters their stuff. I don't know if it's better than Blacksmith's Skill. Blacksmith's Skill is a little bit niche, but it stops them from like prismatic ending our stuff pretty well. Yeah, I think I'll just do it like that. Only bring in Hushbringers and Pithing Needle. We have a handful of options, but I think our main deck is pretty strong against them, as we saw. So let's see what shenanigans they can bring in from the sideboard. Hopefully not that much. It's pretty likely that they could have like Kataki or something. But because of the nature of Hammertime, you don't actually need that many artifacts in play to win, so it doesn't... Kataki doesn't do as much against Hammer as it does against Affinity. This hand is really light on anything and has a lot of lands, so let's mulligan. Hushbringer, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Ornithopter, Colossus Hammer. Also sort of light on a clock, but if we draw any of our ways to equip Hammer, we can do something. So let's keep and just get rid of an Ornithopter here. Opponent plays Giver of Runes. They have 4 cards in hand. We will play Flooded Strand, fetch, get a Plains, play Springleaf Drum, play Ornithopter, and pass. Ether Vial, alright. Is that it? Alright, opponent passes. They have 3 cards in hand. We drew Giver of Runes. Let's go Giver of Runes, Flooded Strand, fetch. Just getting another basic, since we already have Springleaf Drum as extra blue mana. Go ahead and cast Hushbringer. Like so. And pass. If we get to untap with both Giver of Runes and Hushbringer, we're in a really good spot. They could pretty easily Prismatic End or otherwise remove one of them here. But I think just getting our hand into play as much as possible is nice before they possibly get like the Rule of Law creature or something like that in play, like Archon of Emeria specifically. We draw Inkmoth Nexus. And we don't have anything that meaningful to do with Colossus Hammer yet. So I think we just pass. Play Inkmoth Nexus, it enters tapped, that's fine. They have 2 cards in hand. Might as well just pass here. What is our best draw? Probably Pure Steel Paladin, maybe Sigarda's Aid. But probably just Paladin. If they tap out, I could go Inkmoth Nexus, Protection from White. Try to get in with it with a hammer on it. They don't have us on that fast of a clock either, which is nice. Magus of the Moon, that's a little annoying. It stops the Inkmoth Nexus plan, but we can still just put hammer on Ornithopter or Hushbringer here. Opponent has 2 cards still. Their Ether Vial is on 2. We draw. Seachrome Coasts. Let's go ahead and play Seachrome Coast and just pass again, since we don't have anything going on still. This is another spot where Reality Chip would be kind of nice, just because we're already at a board stall again. Vial. Takes up to 3, makes sense. I wonder if they're playing Flicker Wisps. They've got to be playing Imperial Recruiter, right? Since they have the red splash. I feel like you got to. Maybe we do bring in Path because they have so many creature-based hate pieces. Let's just go ahead and play this Esper Sentinel. Might as well. Play Hollowed Fountain, pass the turn. A lot of nothing going on right now. Maybe we bring in March, actually, because that can get Ether Vial, and it can also get rid of their creatures. That doesn't seem that bad. They put Yorion into their hand, that's fine. I also kind of like Mana Leak just in general against Yorion decks, because it's nice to have the option. Do I block the Magus of the Moon? I think I do. They haven't played a spell yet, but their ETBs don't matter. Yeah, I think I want to just try to get rid of this Magus of the Moon. I'll give Pro Red to the Hushbringer with Giver, and if they have a path, they have a path, that's fine. Oh yeah, they can give pro white. I'm a dumbass. Protection from red. That was very stupid of me. But that's fine. Our Esper Sentinel doesn't die at least, and it looks like they don't have removal to punish us for our misplay, so we just kind of gained a life. Or actually, we didn't even gain a life, but whatever. Stoneforge Mystic. I wish Hushbringer was dead. That kind of sucks. Do I just leave the Stoneforge? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm honestly not that far away from just equipping Colossus Hammer the old-fashioned way. So I kind of think I do just play it out now. This way, if I draw Pure Steel Paladin, I can actually go ahead and equip something and start getting in with Hammer. Let's attack with Hushbringer to gain a life here. Opponent's at 19, we're at 17. Vial's on 4. We pass. I assume they're going to put Vial up to 5, because I don't think 4 has that much, but this way they can put in Solitude and Yorion with it. If they get rid of my Hushbringer, I'm not actually that upset about it, I don't think. Because at least I get to get a creature with Stone, or get either Cauldron or something else with Stoneforge Mystic here. Okay. Okay. Double Giver of Runes on our opponent's side of the board is a little bit annoying. Opponent has 4 cards in hand, one of them's a Yorion, we don't know anything else. We know the Yorion doesn't have an ETB at least. They Prismatic End on Hammer. I assume they pay for the 1. I don't see why they wouldn't. Okay. Hammer down. That's fine. We draw. Another Inkmoth Nexus. A little bit lame. Okay. Might as well just pass since they have the Yorion. And I think we're just going to die this game, unfortunately. I think I do want more removal, but I'm not sure if March or Path is better. And honestly, Mana Leak is kind of good too. This game, like right now, March would be pretty good. It would be better than Path, but I don't know if we're consistently going to go this long. So I'm not certain. Lion Sash, okay. Siding out Spell Pierces and Steel Shaper's Gift was still absolutely fine, I think. Let's just take the damage, see what we draw, and probably concede. We draw what? Colossus Hammer. Yeah, let's just scoop it up, because we can probably just die to this Lion Sash, right? We have 2 flying blockers that can give protection from colorless to make it to where we can't block something with Ornithopter. Like we can't block Yorion with Ornithopter, maybe. I guess we might as well just stick around for another turn and see what happens. So let's just play Hammer and pass. Maybe our opponent messes up somehow and gives us an opportunity. Because we could still just draw like Pure Steel Paladin and equip Hammer to Hushbringer and start gaining life. Grows Lion Sash. I do think I want to bring in more creature removal instead of the blacksmith skills. Opponent plays a Ghost Quarter. 2 cards in hand. Maybe I want Mana Leak. This is a weird matchup sideboard-wise because there's a lot of options. I still think Needle's fine because we could get Lion Sash or Ether Vial, the way that things are currently built. Oh yeah, they can give protection from colorless and protection from white as long as it... Oh, ha ha. Pro white makes Lion Sash fall off, that's funny. So they actually can't kill us here. They can only deal 4. That's pretty funny. And now they can't give pro colorless because they did that in the wrong order. Okie dokie. Let's block you. And yeah. We go down to 3. What do we draw? Paradise Mantle doesn't do anything, and we will scoop it up. All right. So do I bring in removal or mana leaks? I think I want marches instead of Pithing Needle, actually, because I could just march away their files also. And they're not always going to have it since it's an 80 card deck. And I think I'm leaning towards getting rid of Blacksmith Skill. Caldra's a little weird since they have a lot of white-based removal, so it's not super great against them. Paradise Mantle I think I can cut pretty easy. I think I want like 2 mana leaks. But what do I want to cut for them? Do I cut it? I don't think cutting Hushbringers could be right because they have so many ETBs. Hushbringer is a bit of a non-bow with Stoneforge Mystic, but still. Since we're on the play, I think Mana Leak is stronger, actually. Oh, we cut Esper Sentinels, of course, because they don't have that many. Yeah, so we go down to 2 Esper Sentinels, bring in Mana Leaks. I think that's correct. Because they don't have that many ways that they would actually trigger Esper Sentinel. So it's just not as good against them. Alright, we have pretty strong hand overall, let's keep it. We get to lead on Giver of Runes, and then on turn 2 play Urza Saga and either hold up Mana Leak or go straight for a Stoneforge Mystic, which I think might be a bit better. Since it actually represents a clock, let's go Hollowed Fountain. Untapped, Giver of Runes. I'd like to draw another land other than Urza Saga soonish. Actually, if I drew like specifically a basic plains or a fetch land to get a basic plains, that would be nice for next turn, because then I can go Stoneforge Mystic without playing Urza Saga, so I don't have to pick between a Construct and Kaldra. Prismatic End, that's fine. Giver of Rune's still kind of doing its job by just having our opponent use a removal spell on it. We draw another Urza Saga. That's not a non-Urza Saga card, but it's still another land, which we did want, technically. Gotta play Stoneforge before Hushbringer, just have the right sequencing here. Yes. And do I pick Hammer or Kaldra? I assume I gotta pick Kaldra, right? I think it just makes more sense. Because we're significantly delayed from playing Pure Steel Paladin since we don't have double white. So I think we just wait on that. Inspiring Vantage and Stoneforge. Okay. Getting their own Kaldra, I assume. Yep. We draw Flooded Strand. Interesting. So now I have to pick between playing Kaldra or just passing. I'm definitely getting a basic plains here. I think I just pass. Because it would be really devastating if they played Magus of the Moon, so I want to be able to interact with that with Mana Leak. Kaldra, for the most part, is better than a Construct here. But we'll see. Looks like they're going to put their Kaldra into play. Alright, that's fine. They attack for 5. Do we put our Kaldra into play to block it? I don't think we do. Alright, Cauldra or Construct? Cauldra is just bigger, so I guess we might as well just put that into play. But the difference is that we... If I make a Construct here, it's a 1/1. It's going to be a 2/2 after Urza Saga pops, 3/3 if I get a Construct. If I make another Construct with the Saga, but that's about as big as it gets. I don't have that many artifacts in play either way. If I make Cauldra, I have that. They probably just have a removal spell for it, unfortunately. So I think I'd rather represent putting Cauldra into play next turn instead of doing that. Make a Construct here, see what we draw for turn. We draw Sigard as aid. Interesting, that'll make my next Urza Saga much better. I can't make Pure Steel Paladin relevant here, but I could play Hushbringer and hold up Mana Leak, so I think that's probably the play. So I get Springleaf Drum, I have 2 artifacts. Or I could go for a hammer. I think Springleaf Drum is better. We need the mana right now. Play Saga. Okay. One and a white, play Hushbringer. Yeah, this way I get to actually play Sigard as 8 as well. And then also hold up Mana Leak. So I think that's just better in general. And I'll get in with the Construct so I can soften up my opponent's life total a little bit. Seeing Cauldra matchups definitely makes me wish that I had Aether Vial. Not Aether Vial, Aether Spellbomb, like in regular Affinity. Definitely missed that card, but it makes sense why it's not as good here in general. Looks like they do have Solitude here, based on how they're pausing to the Hushbringer. Alright. Let's go to combat. Attack for 2. Another option I had here would have been, like, go Sigard as aid. What the fuck are you doing? Alright, they Solitude while we have a Hushbringer in play. Cool. It just puts the Solitude into play. They trade for the Construct. That's fine. A little strange, but okay. And I think I just go ahead and play Sigard as aid now. Yeah. And pass. So I gotta make sure that I don't mess up Living Weapon plus Sigard as aid. If I don't go for Mana Leak here. I feel like I'm gonna wind up having to use the Mana Leak, but we'll see. Opponent. Attacks for 5, 6, 7. Attacks for 5, 6, 7. 6, but attacks for 5. Take the 5. Okay. Okay. We're at 7. Plays a Gancho. And plays Archon of Emeria. If I don't counter this, I get Cauldra into play. And they definitely can't do anything about it, really. And then I could use Sigard as aid to put Cauldra on Hushbringer, so then it's a lifelinking flyer Cauldra, which is significantly better. Alright. And then I can just keep holding up Mana Leak while I'm hitting them with lifelink. which I think is just fine. Alright, so I gotta make sure that I do these triggers in the right order. Tap for generic, tap for a white. Put Cauldron into play. I want to do Sigarda's Aid second. So I make a germ, the germ dies, and Cauldron moves over to Hushbringer. Okay. Yes. Sweet. So now I'm hitting them for 6 with a really large Hushbringer. Which is just kind of funny, I mean, come on. Alright, Flooded Strand. Tapped, unfortunately. Go to combat. Hit you for 6, and I think we've basically just stabilized now. The Hushbringer has a massive target on its head, but it is just a very, very good card right now. Have to exile, no thank you. Tap correctly. No cards in our opponent's hand. I don't think they have many good draws other than just finding more paths one way or another. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're at 13, they're at 17. The clock has started to reverse. We will pass. Unfortunately, we can't play Pure Steel since we had to Mana Leak there. And we can't make a construct for the same reason, since our Flooded Strand entered tapped. They play Field of Ruin. They're probably going to hit our Saga with that, I would assume. Yep. That's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's fine. It means that they're not literally just dead here to us putting a hammer on our Hushbringer. They put Yorion into their hand. That's fine. Damn, this Hushbringer's good. We will block with Stoneforge Mystic. We take 7. Okay. We're at 8, and then we're at 6. We're going to gain 6 again to 12. We're going to take 7 again on the backswing. Okay. And if we draw a hammer, we just get to win here. We do not, unfortunately. Play Flooded Strand. Play Pure Steel Paladin. Might as well just get into play. It stops their Stoneforge from attacking in. Attack for 6. Do I want to attack with the Stoneforge? Pure Steel blocks anyway. So yeah, let's attack with the Stoneforge Mystic. Get in for 7. We gain 6 up to 12. Puts our opponents at 10. This is a really interesting game so far. It's very chaotic with double Cauldron. Lots of Bionicles in play. Opponent plays a Field of Ruin. Good that they didn't draw removal there. We're just trying to dodge them drawing removal for as long as possible, while they're essentially hitting us for 1 a turn. I assume they're going to play their Yorion here. I don't know why they wouldn't. We go down to 5. Opponent plays Yorion, doesn't do anything. I'm not going to crack the Flooded Strand, I'd rather preserve life total. Arid Mesa, not the best. Alright, what do I want to do here? I can get in for 6. They would, I assume, just take it, so they would go down to 4. We would gain 6. Alternatively, how much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not quite enough to reassign Cauldron. Oh, I do have enough to reassign Cauldron. Interesting. But not with Arid Mesa entering tapped, which kind of sucks. How much can they hit me for on the backswing? They can hit me for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We can block Stoneforge, so sort of 12, but sort of not. We can put 2 guys in front of the Germ. to block a little bit of that. We're going up to 11 ourselves. We would trade Kaldras if we block, but if we leave back blockers and they find removal, they get to win. We're definitely playing the Arid Mesa. If I attack in, I go up to 11. They attack for 6 in the air, and I go back down to 5. And they attack for 6 on the ground, and I have to block. So basically, either way, if they find removal, they win, it looks like. Well, I'm glad that I didn't pop Flooded Strand, but I'm not certain what I want to do here now. If we had one more artifact, I'd be able to reassign Kaldra to Stoneforge and block their Kaldra, which would be nice at least. What is the right line here? If I just pass, they could also just pass. But then we get to start getting in with... Yeah, I think we are favored if we get to untap again. Because we can reassign Kaldra. Or possibly draw a hammer. Alright, let me know if I punted. I'm just going to pass this turn. And plan on having an extra blocker with the Hushbringer. Which feels awkward, but it's what's happening. Alright, cross your fingers for me. Come on, Magic Gods. I would love to get a 5-0 with this deck. If they draw Solitude, it's mildly annoying because of the lifelink and that it has Flash, but it doesn't remove anything. Opponent goes to combat, attacks with the Germ. Do we block with our Hushbringer to that? It would exile our Hushbringer, which sucks. And I suspect that they have a Solitude. Fuck. Maybe I needed to attack with the Hushbringer so I got lifelink guaranteed. If they have a removal spell and we chump with Stoneforge, they get to win because we take 5. If they have removal for Hushbringer, which is a bit less likely, they also get to win. Jesus Christ, this is annoying. And weird. I think we need to block with our Hushbringer, unfortunately. And maybe also the Stoneforge Mystic to play around removal. But I think that might be a bit too much. Yeah, let's just go for it like that. Alright, cross your fingers for me. Alright. Kaldras are down. We're at 11. They're going to get rid of our Hushbringer. Alright. Things are not great, but we're not literally dead like we could have been. They play Plains. Alright, so they didn't actually draw anything good. That's good for us. Well, they can re-equip their Kaldra, which is actually incredibly annoying, now that I think about it. Oh, fuck. Alright. Let's thin our deck. Tapped Hollowed Fountain. We only actually have 2 fetchable lands, which kind of sucks. Alright, so we basically need to draw a hammer here to force them to block with the Archon again. Sigard is 8. Shit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't get a land that makes mana. We can fetch with Sigard. Yeah, I mean, we're dead. Yeah, we don't have any fetchable lands. We'll play Sigard's Aid, and we'll say GG's to our opponent. That was a really fun game. That match was crazy. I think I probably should have just attacked, but alright. I'll see you in the next one. Alright, final round with Hammer Time. Our opponent is on the play and they're keeping 7, no companion. We have Sigarda's Aid and a Hammer, Pure Steel, Giver of Runes, and Ornithopter. If we draw a second Hammer, we could possibly have a turn 2 win here. Also kind of has to be Magical Christmas Land with our opponent not interacting, but that's the closest we've gotten to it this entire league so far, so I say we keep it. It's relatively powerful either way. There's an argument that playing Giver of Runes on turn 1 might be a bit smarter than just running out Sigarda's Aid Ornithopter, but I'm not here to be smart. And it looks like our opponent is also on probably the same Hammer Time deck, more or less. Yep, looks like it. Second Sigarda's Aid. Whoops. Cast Ornithopter and pass. Alright. What does our opponent have? They play their Sigarda's Aid. Okie dokie. They don't attack. Okay. Let's play Plains. Let's... Do I play Esper Sentinel? Plus Colossus Hammer, maybe? They have 3 cards in hand. If I play Esper Sentinel first, that means that I get to draw a card whenever they play their hammer, most likely. I don't really have a reason to attack in right here, so I think I just go for Giver of Runes, so I can block their stuff more effectively. And pass. They didn't play a hammer, that's good news for us. I think they might not have it yet. They play a Saga. That does give them a bit better of a long game. Let's play Pure Steel Paladin. Let's... How do I want to do this? I could just attack him with Esper Sentinel. Or I could go Esper Sentinel and Ornithopter, and whichever one is unblocked. What's the better plan? Unfortunately, their blockers are going to be colorless, so we can't really give protection from colorless to things to get in with them because the hammer will fall off. We do get an extra draw from the Pure Steel Paladin, which is nice at least. Their Giver of Runes is really messing us up here, actually. Let's... Do I need to wait for them to attack first? This is a really weird mirror match, actually. I don't think they have a hammer in general yet, or else they probably would have played it already, but I'm also suspicious that they don't have any tapped mana. Maybe they have Spell Pierce up. I kind of think I just pass here. And leave up Hammer. It's weird, but I think that's the play. Saga ticks up. They play Silent Clearing, 3 cards in hand still. I think I go for Hammer now. I can't just keep giving them time, unfortunately. Yeah, they have the Spell Pierce like I was expecting. They have to choose between making a construct or giving us a draw here at least. They choose not to make a construct. Okay. Let's see what we draw for turn. Hopefully something good. This is actually a situation where Reality Chip would be really good, which is what I was about to say, and is kind of hilarious. Okay. Let's see if we can get lucky and have some good top decks here. Esper Sentinel's on top first. We're going to get to draw that, and we're going to Sigarda's Aid. We're going to Sigarda's Aid onto what? Does it give a buff? It doesn't give a buff, so it doesn't really matter. Let's just put it on Pure Steel Paladin. Yes. Okay. That's hilarious that I drew the card that I was talking about. Yes, I would love to draw a card. We draw Ginger Brute. Is it better to... It's probably better to play Esper Sentinel so that I have a better chance of drawing more cards. Unfortunately, that means we don't actually get an extra card from the reality chip here. It's possible that we could have played Ginger Brute and then had a land on top and play Esper Sentinel, but I think I'd rather have the Ginger Brute be a surprise, since that could be a way that we actually close out the game here. Opponent's Saga is about to pop. Let's see if they make a construct or not. This is a really interesting mirror. What do we have to bring in against them? March definitely comes in. Pithing Needle maybe, but probably not, because that would hit a lot of the same things that we want. Path to Exile maybe. Spell Pierce maybe. Lavinia maybe. They get Shadow Spear. Interesting. Makes me think they might already have a hammer now. Yep, they have a hammer. We get some Esper Sentinel triggers. How many hammers do they have is the question. They pay for one, they pay for both. Okay. Okay. They play Flooded Strand as their land. They attack in for 11. We can block 2 of it for free by blocking with Pure Steel and giving protection from colorless. So I guess we might as well do that. Best draws for us are probably just hammers, right? Like, or hammer plus lifelink would be great. Give protection from colorless. We take 9 down to 11. Our opponent's at 29. We draw Ginger Brute, we have a Spell Pierce on top. Spell Pierce is not the kind of thing that we want to have on top, really, unfortunately. Ginger Brute could either get in later or gain us a little bit of life. Spell Pierce might be able to protect us from spontaneously dying to a second hammer here. But I'm still not very happy about the situation that we're in. Opponent fetches. Okay. We can't even get in with our Esper Sentinels because the Giver of Runes just stonewalls them. Not a great spot to be in. Maybe I went for the hammer at the wrong time. I think I had to test whether they had the Spell Pierce there or not. Let's see. Opponent attacks for 11. Probably going to give pro-white, I assume. Yep. Kind of wish that they gave protection from colorless. That would have been a bit more funny. Let's put Ornithopter in front. We go down to 2. Alright, I think... Is it worth just popping this Ginger Brute? I think it probably is, just to go ahead and gain life, because hopefully I'm going to use all my mana next turn. So far, this reality chip has not given us a lot of cards. Play Flooded Strand. Stoneforge Mystic on top. That is something that we want, I think. That gives us 1 hammer. Our opponent has 2 cards in hand. They're at 39, which sucks ass for us. What are the best things that we could get? Cauldron would actually be really good if we could put it into play somehow. But unfortunately, we can't haste up the Stoneforge Mystic. If we cast Stoneforge and then have a hammer on top, we could flash it in. And then maybe we could just start blocking Ornithopter. But all of our cards are white. We need to get a colorless creature that comes... Shit, maybe I needed to keep Ginger Brute so I had a colorless creature to block with. This mirror match is hard. Alright. Let's full control in case I need to cast something before the trigger resolves. Cast Stoneforge Mystic. Shadow Spear. I think I do want the Shadow Spear. So let's cast you. Pay like so. So I can gain life now. And that is good. Oh my god, they have another Spell Pierce? Oh my god. Opponent pays for Esper Sentinel. Opponent pays for Esper Sentinel again. Alright, so they give protection from white to Ornithopter. Oh, I needed to protect my Ornithopter with Giver of Runes last turn too. I also forgot about that. They pay for Esper Sentinel again. Opponent's tapped out. I could Spell Pierce their Spell Pierce and gain 3. And I can block 4 by forcing Reality Chip to fall off of Pure Steel Paladin. I could really block 5 and then gain 1. Which is essentially blocking 6. So if I gain 3, I'm at 8. If I take 11, I'm at -3. And then if I block 6 of the 11, I'm barely still alive. But I have to get a blue source here. God damn it. So I get Hollowed Fountain. I go down to 2. I gain 3. To 5. My opponent attacks for 11, and I block 6 of the 11, so I go to exactly 0. I think is what that means. Wow, that sucks. Is there something better that I could get here? I already played a land for turn. I could just get Hammer, and then I can still block here. I have to not Spell Pierce. Let's just get a Plains. Okay. No. No. Okay. Yes. I could get Paradise Mantle. Oh, Paradise Mantle is a way that I could have done that. Is it worth just going for the gold and trying to get Paradise Mantle, or do I get Colossus Hammer so I can block Ornithopter? I think I have to get Colossus Hammer now. Esper Sentinel, okay. Let's pass. So, our opponents use 2 Spell Pierces, so they shouldn't have any more. They can give protection from white to get through all these creatures, but I think we might still be able to get there. So 11. Do they have another hammer? Is there a way to play around that? I need the reality chip to survive, so I'd rather block with other stuff if I have the option. It has a 13, but they can just give protection from white anyway. Let's just block with an Esper Sentinel, I think. If they have another hammer, they have another hammer. We can't really do anything about that at this point. They have 2 cards in hand. Maybe they have more hammers. Unfortunately, because I'm not as experienced with this deck, I think I fumbled that away. Either way, I'd be dead to a second hammer on my opponent's side, I think, or another Spell Pierce on our hammer. But I think the way I was thinking initially, where I could Spell Pierce, their Spell Pierce, and get my Shadow Spear, I would have been able to go down that line if I remembered Stoneforge Mystic could get Paradise Mantle, and then I can use my untapped creatures to make mana. I could even continue popping off with Reality Chip, possibly. But yeah, this is a very interesting match so far, either way. Cigar Aid, going to put it on Esper Sentinel. And what does our opponent have? Blacksmith skill. What? They're targeting our thing? That's not how that works. So I think they just messed themselves up there, because hexproof doesn't stop us from targeting it, and they just gave our thing indestructible, which is a little bizarre. And +2/+2. Okay. So now they can't target our stuff more, and... Well, I guess our opponent was a little inexperienced too, so that's fantastic. We draw Marsh Flats, okay. They give protection from white, I assume. That's fine. So they just bounce off each other. Our opponent gains some life. They have one card in hand. Alright, let's see if I can make up for fumbling earlier. That was something. I'm at 4, and I don't have a way to get lifelink anymore, unfortunately. Opponent plays Pure Steel Paladin, that's kind of annoying. They don't reassign anything, which is interesting. We draw Urza's Saga. Let's play Saga. Esper Sentinel on top. Let's play Esper Sentinel. Pure Steel Paladin on top. Let's play Pure Steel. Cast an Ornithopter. We don't really want to cast the Cigar Aid. I kind of want to keep up Spell Pierce. So I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, I'd rather keep up Spell Pierce, I think. Let's go to combat. Attack for 11. Okay. Still need to keep up Give Her Runes so I can disequip or unequip, I guess, or reconfigure my reality chip in case I need to. Let's equip Colossus Hammer onto Ornithopter here. And pass. Alright, our opponent draws a card for turn. Hopefully they didn't get another hammer still. Since we have a colorless blocker, they can't just get in through the protection from colorless without making their hammer and Shadow Spear fall off their Ornithopter, so that's good for us. Not all hammer players that I've run into have seen that interaction yet, so maybe we can get lucky. They move hammer onto Pure Steel, okay. Where are they giving protection from? Pro white, okay. We're at 4. What can we do? We can block 12, give protection from white to our Ornithopter, take 1. I think that's fine. I think I want to go ahead and give pro white now. I don't think they have removal, but just in case, I want to do it before I commit to blocking. And we're going to start being able to make constructs soon, and they're going to be relatively large. Alright, we're at 3. Opponent plays another Giver of Runes. That's obnoxious. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, effectively 7 artifacts currently. Once we make a construct, we draw Sigarda's Aid, there's an Arid Mesa on top, which isn't very exciting, but we can at least play it for free. There's a Seacrum Coast on top. I think I move over here. Do I need to be attacking with Pure Steel Paladins and stuff? I think I need more blockers mostly. Let's get Hollowed Fountain tapped. Inkmoth Nexus is an interesting card to have on top here. Play Esper Sentinel. We can hold up Spell Pierce still, and we can also make a construct that's going to be pretty big. Let's go ahead and make the construct now, because I think I might move the Colossus Hammer onto it. It's an 8/8 currently. Yeah, I think I do. Because their protection from colorless doesn't do very much for them. Inkmoth Nexus might give us a reasonable line to win through them gaining a bunch of life. We are at 2, and we can't gain life still. They don't have any cards, though. So we have them stonewalled for now. Interesting. They have double Giver of Runes, which means they can block lots and lots, though, since we don't have Trample. So we need to possibly draw another hammer or have it on top so we can flash onto our Inkmoth Nexus if they don't block it. Flooded Strand on top, that kind of sucks. We do get to shuffle at least. Let's make another construct. We can start getting in with the construct. They could give protection from colorless to their Ornithopter, so that doesn't matter as much. If we find Cauldro, we can get Trample. And that would be good. So another Stoneforge Mystic on top would be nice. Do I get Paradise Mantle so I can have mana, or do I get Colossus Hammer? What is more valuable to me here? Either way, I'm going to get to draw an extra card. I think I just want another hammer. It is the namesake card of the deck, I suppose. And then I get to draw 2 cards. Okay. Sigarda's Aid, put that on. Esper Sentinel, I guess. Yes. Okay. Yes. Urza's Saga on top. Yes. Let's play the Saga as our land for turn instead of Inkmoth Nexus. I think just making constructs and beating in might be actually our way to win here. Multiple colorless threats. Let's go Springleaf Drum. So they can give protection from white to whatever, and it doesn't matter. They can't give protection from colorless to things for the most part. We need a flying blocker back in case they draw a hammer and can Sigarda's Aid onto their Ornithopter, so I can't attack with Ornithopter. I could attack with the construct and force them to block. I could force them to block with a Giver of Runes, but that doesn't matter yet. I could give protection from white and get in. I could give protection from white and get in. They can block with Ornithopter, give pro-colorless, and it doesn't matter. So I don't think I can attack in still, unfortunately. Yeah, I think I'm still just waiting on Cauldra. Is there another way I could do this? Probably not. Maybe I could put a hammer on... Maybe I just put a hammer on Esper Sentinel, so that's harder for them to stop us from drawing cards. And I guess we just pass because of the double giver. Gingerbrute would be really good here. Cauldron would be really good here. Shadow Spear, RIP, would be really good here. Opponent fetches. Let's see what they top deck. Hopefully nothing very good. But we'll see. They draw Ink Moth Nexus. So we're going to have dueling Ink Moth Nexuses now. Nexies. This is ridiculous. This game is ridiculous. Reality Chip is giving us a lot of cards, though, so that's nice at least. Alright, so they have 2 free blocks per turn because of the givers. I think now that we can start attacking in with big boys, it might be worth it to start getting in. I think I want to wait until I have 1 more construct, though. Do I go ahead and play Ink Moth Nexus now? I think I do, so I can start threatening that. Is it worth getting in with 2 constructs? I still don't think so. I'm still concerned about flying blockers quite a lot. And I don't want to do too much math. Oh my god, we're low on time. I need to start clicking faster. Oh my god. Alright. Clicking faster as of now. I need to stop ruminating on what I'm doing so much. And just go for it to some degree. Opponent goes to combat. Passes. Fantastic. Make a construct. Okay. What do we draw for turn? We have a Cauldron. We found the Cauldron. That means we have Trample. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can flash this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's flash it in. This is awesome. Flash Cauldron, okay. Got him. Pure Steel. Pure Steel. Living Weapon. Cigar Aid. Okay. I'd rather just Living Weapon, I think. Actually, maybe I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm just going to put it on a construct. Hopefully it doesn't really matter. Draw a card. Yes. Draw a card. Yes. Stoneforge on top. Saga pops. We get another Colossus Hammer. Pure Steel, Pure Steel. Cigar Aid. Onto the construct. Alright, so we're just going to make 1 construct as big as possible, and then even if they're blocking with protection, since we have Trample finally, it doesn't matter. And I think we should just be able to kill them in 1 go here. Because I don't think they have any specific card that could just win them the game. Or completely undo us, especially now that we found a Blacksmith skill also. Alright. Let's play an Ornithopter. Let's equip here. Big ol' boy. Equip here. That is a big construct. Cast an Ornithopter. Cast a Springleaf Drum. Like so. We're at 2. Let's go to combat. Attack with both of the big hosses, leave 1 back, I suppose. Or let's just attack with the 1. Probably a little bit better. Alright, what you got, opponent? Our opponent had a really strong edge and then sort of undid themselves by casting Blacksmith skill on our creature for some reason. And it looks like they're going to give protection from colorless. And then we're just going to get in because it has trample anyway. Alright, cool. So I gotta win the rest of this match in 6 minutes, but we got that game, and that felt fantastic, so that's okay by me. I'm torn about Pithing Needle. I feel like I shouldn't bring it in. Spell Pierce, maybe. Lavinia, it also feels kind of weird. Maybe I just bring in Marches and try to play really clean. I think I take out Blacksmith skill since they don't have a lot of things that target. I think I take out Steel Shaper's Gift and bring in Spell Pierce because that can be really good. And I think I just run it like that. Maybe Hushbringer is worth bringing in just to have lifelink. But shutting off ETBs is kind of bad. So I don't know. I kind of just gotta run fast. I'm gonna try to just pilot quickly and not worry about it all too much this game. Our opponent has an 8-minute edge on us, basically. We're gonna keep this hand. It doesn't have a hammer, but it has Sigarda's Aid, some Esper Sentinels to draw us cards, and we can use Sigarda's Aid to equip Reality Chip onto an Esper Sentinel and hopefully just keep going from there. And we have an Inkmoth Nexus, and we found a hammer. Okay. Let's go Marsh Flats. Get Hollowed Fountain, Shock. And I think I'd rather lead on Esper Sentinel and try to increase the chance of me drawing cards. Alright, so now the win that we're going for is Inkmoth Nexus, Sigarda's Aid, Hammer. And we're going to try to set up for it next turn and kill them on turn 3, hopefully. If they go shields down. And they're more likely to go shields down since we started with Attack's Effect. Opponent plays Giver of Runes. Okay. They don't have Spell Pierce up. We drew March of Otherworldly Light, which is nice. Let's play here. Play here. Let's... play what? Play Sigarda's Aid. Do I leave March in hand, or do I just march away the Saga now? Marching away the Saga now means that I could die if they have double hammer in hand, play a second land, and attack for 20. Playing it now is better if I really want to get rid of the Saga, but I think what ultimately makes me wait till their turn to march is that this way, hopefully if they have a Spell Pierce, they do it during their end step. Cast March. Cancel. Cast March. Not exiling anything. X0 is fine. The interface for March of Otherworldly Light on Moto is kind of weird. Alright, march away you. Please play your Spell Pierce and or tap down. That would be fantastic. Please tap your blue mana, / your white mana, / also your Inkmoth Nexus. Opponent taps down! Oh my god, I think we got that. The opponent doesn't have any mana. I don't think they can have anything here. Go to combat. Attack with the boy. Wait till they don't block. Did we get them? Play Colossus Hammer. Fucking got him. Oh my god, that was satisfactory. Well, we had the elusive, crazy reality chip game, which makes me much more confident about it existing in the deck. I played against... not this one. I'm just used to clicking Affinity. I played against the Affinity match a couple times in practice, and From what I can tell, Reality Chip is mostly for like breaking the mirror. It was incredibly good in game 1 there. It made us use a lot of time, but still. We got 5 treasure chests, so let's open those up. Gallic Reader's Thrill of Possibility. Okay. I think that's my 5th Gallic Readers, so that's a little unfortunate, but card sweet, so I don't mind that much. Fraying Sanity. I remember when that was Miltech. Number 3 is Champion of the Perished, Spectral Force, small amount of play points. Okay, number 4 is... What the hell is this card? Not going to let me zoom in on it. It is a 2-drop from Innistrad Crimson Vow. Whenever it attacks, sacrifice it at end of combat. Whenever this... Oh, it's the new version of the make a 4/4 when this attacks that every Innistrad has. And number 5 is... Again, kind of mediocre. But yeah, this deck is sweet. If you already have Affinity built, which a lot of people viewing my channel seem to from the comments, it's pretty cheap to build on Moto too. I know in paper Inkmoth Nexus is quite a lot, and Stoneforge Mystic is quite a lot, but on Moto most of these cards are pretty cheap other than the Urza Sagas, and like maybe the fetch lands if you don't have many of them yet. But yeah, this deck's really fun. Just bonking people is a really good time. It isn't every day that you see a deck go from being a meme deck to being like modern top tier solidly for over a year. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Equipments are cool. I'll see you in the next video.
Hey everyone, Shoe Nice again. Well, basically, go subscribe to Tezzey's YouTube channel. And for those who made it to the end of the video, thank you.